Hi everybody. Relationships are such a big and huge topic for me since all my life that I'm really deciding to dive a little deeper with you and share more of my insights that I have learned over many years of relating myself and helping other people to take their relationships to the next level. And one of the big things that comes up for so many of us is this idea of a power struggle within a relational container in whatever capacity you are in. If you're in a monogamous relationship or in a polyamorous relationship, doesn't matter. At any point of relating, and even if it's not romantic relationships, we're encountering these conflicts that I would call power struggles. So power struggles are these nasty spaces where we tend to get really harsh on the people that we love so much and so dearly. And it's very interesting to question that, to question why we are so harsh with the people that we love the most. So before I go into the 3 ways of how to get out of a power struggle, I want to talk a little bit about what a power struggle actually is and what is underneath it. So a power struggle usually occurs in the second phase of any relational journey that we're taking with our partner or partners. The second phase comes after the first one, which you're probably very familiar with, which is the one that everybody loves, where we're meeting somebody and we're having these pink glasses on and we're looking at them and they look so perfect and oh my god, they fulfill all my needs and they're so beautiful. So this is the romantic stage where we're just in love with this partner of ours and we're seeing them as gods and goddesses and they're just absolutely perfect. So then the second phase after that, usually after a couple of months or a couple of years, depending on how much time you spend together, comes what I call the desert space. The desert phase of the relationship is when these glasses drop, when all of a sudden we see the real person that we are interacting with. We're seeing their flaws, we're seeing where they're not the god or the goddess that we've seen before, where we're seeing their flaws, we're seeing their incapabilities, we're seeing what's not right about them, and we start to withdraw our giving. So we start to not love so unconditionally anymore. We start to prod and we start to see like, what's happening here? Why aren't you giving me? Because as we stopped giving, they also stopped giving love. So this is usually a kind of a phase where most of relationships break up and then move to the next one and the next one and the next one. Because if you don't pass this stage, you're not actually healing and doing the work that every relationship is calling you into. So this phase is very important to recognize. When the power struggles appear, when you start to argue with your loved ones about certain things again and again, it is important to recognize, here we are in a power struggle, so let's look what's underneath every single power struggle. And underneath every single power struggle really is an old heartbreak. So just breathe with that. Underneath every power struggle is an old heartbreak. And here the rule applies that 20% of that heartbreak, maybe even just 10%, are in the current moment. And 80% or even up to 90% of the problem that you're facing is in the past. So it's an old wound that you're carrying with you. And because you're carrying it, it is like a contracted part inside of you. And because it's contracted, it's like a dead area that wants to become alive, that wants to be activated so it can feel again. But because you're carrying this deadness around, you're starting to unconsciously prod your partner or be prodded by them in order to bring life to this old heartbreak so that you can start to feel it again and heal it through your ability to move feeling to that place. The reason for this is because as a child, especially as a child, when you're young, you don't have the capacity to properly feel and heal what's going on for you. Your brain isn't able to navigate these situations. You have to shut down, you have to dissociate as a child when injuries happen to your soul. It is like that. We are designed like that. There's no way around it. So we all in some way are traumatized from childhood because we haven't received enough love, we haven't been seen enough, we haven't been heard enough. So we face that later on in our relationship struggles. We face our old wounds, and the more we face them in terms of actually going to that old heartbreak and feeling it deeply, the more we're doing the work to release this deadness that is inside of our heart somewhere and bring it back to love and life. And this is why a lot of people in the power struggle phase, when they are in the desert of their relationship and they're thinking like, what am I doing here? Why are we arguing so much? What's happening? They are unconsciously trying to bring aliveness to their relationship. And sometimes we do that as children do. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but children sometimes, they try to get attention, and they do it in a very destructive way, but they try to get attention. So we do the same thing later on in our unconscious relationships. When we're not having conscious awareness of what we're doing, we're prodding, or we're reacting to the prodding in order to bring aliveness, drama to our relational space, so that we can feel a little bit important, and we can feel like things are happening for us, and we are really like, yes, we're going through this really tough thing, and we can scream at each other, and we can let some of this emotion that's kind of piled up inside of us out at the other person unconsciously. And often what happens is, obviously, we hurt each other, we lose trust, we really create more wounding when we don't have enough awareness of what's happening in these power struggles. So, what to do? What to do when the power struggles overtake us? Well, I have identified 3 ways. There are many more, but I want to share with you 3 ways today that have really helped me to move through power struggles and to find the deeper calling underneath every power struggle, the heartbreak, to feel it deeply, and then to move to more and greater love. So the first one is have an emotional release toolkit for yourself. Meaning, how emotionally mature are you? How much are you equipped to feel every single emotion that is moving through you at any given point? Most people that I encounter have no idea how to. Sometimes they can't cry, sometimes they have a stuck energy around anger. Most of the time it's these 2 that we are really stuck with, one or the other. So when you have that, when you notice that you have trouble feeling your anger, or you have trouble feeling sad, or releasing through tears, you will have an area that is stuck, you will have an area that is dead inside of you. So you need to learn how to channel emotions through you, because when you start this work, it's very, very, very important that you come into your body and you can connect to your emotions, and you at any given moment can release whatever is flowing through you. So when you're in a conflict, you can identify, whoa, I'm feeling so much sadness, let me cry those out. Or wow, I'm angry, but I can release this anger into a pillow. I can go out in nature and scream into the sky. I can do something with this hot energy that usually, as you probably know, and let me know in the comments if you've ever felt like energy, just emotional energy comes and it just rides through you, and there's no way that you can escape it, and you just like, usually you shoot it at the person right in front of you, and that's your loved one, and you really hurt them, or you just become this victim who's like completely lost in tears in the corner, doesn't have any capacity to, that was me. But we need to connect to our emotions, because we need to connect to that original heartbreak that is underneath every power struggle, that has nothing, absolutely nothing, to do with your current partner. So you need to do the work. You need to go and find ways to channel the emotion through you, to learn how to feel deeply everything that's going on inside of you without putting the lid of your conscious, or let's say your analytical mind, on top of your emotions. This is something that we do constantly. All of us, we are so trained to push our emotions down into our belly and just let them rumble there forever. And then we wonder why we keep overboiling, why we keep cooking and spilling all this our guts into the area, and then our relational field is messy. I mean, it makes total sense to me that if your emotional channels aren't clear and you can't move emotional energy through easily, that just has to happen for you. So if you have no idea what emotional release is, if you have no idea what this even means, then please go to the Be Loved Tribe and just join our free training that we have there, which is called Emotional Maturity Training. It's amazing. There's so many tools in there, so much to understand what emotions are, how to use them as fuel rather than destructive force. Go ahead over there, do it. The Be Loved Tribe is an amazing community that Sai and me have kind of co-founded, and there's so much going on there, and we're giving a lot of content just so people learn this, because this, as I said, it's the first one. It's at the basis of you understanding your relational drama, power struggles, and getting out of them. If you don't learn how to move your emotional energy, you're done. You're going to go over and over and over again through the same conflicts, because you need to learn how to feel what was once not felt deep enough. So I leave you with that on the first one. The second way to get out of a relational struggle is to identify the need that you are not meeting, or that's not met within you. All forms of violent communication are always a tragic expression of an unmet need. All forms of violent communication, or violence in general, are tragic expressions of an unmet need. This is a sentence from Marshall Rosenberg, the founder of nonviolent communication, and I really love this, and I say it often because it's so profound. So most of us, we are not aware of what need we're actually not facing, or what's not met within us. So we keep prodding our partners, or we keep arguing on a very surface level because we're not aware what am I missing, which need is not met within me. Maybe I feel meaningless, and I'm trying to get some kind of reaction from my partner so that I can feel I have meaning in his life or her life. Maybe I have a need for contact, and we haven't connected, we haven't touched, we haven't seen or felt each other. But rather than actually saying, hey, I really need a hug, I want to touch and feel you, can we take a few minutes, or can we have an hour later on together where we just be together, where we breathe and hug and embrace. We start prodding because we're really sexually frustrated, and all of this energy comes through in a very unconscious way and doesn't express itself properly. So this is a bit of soul searching, and you can go on Google and just type needs inventory from Marshall Rosenberg or nonviolent communication, and you find a list of beautiful needs that you can look at. And then when you are in a space of, after you released your emotions, after you've done the screaming, the crying, whatever you needed to do, you can go and see, it's like, what is it that I'm needing? What need is needing to be met? And then also in that same moment, release your partner of having to meet that need for you all the time. This is an act of forgiveness. This is an act of forgiving yourself for expecting that your partner has to meet all your needs, because he or she or whoever it is will not be able to always meet your needs. And then forgiving yourself and forgiving your partner for not being able, because they are also just hurt souls, they're hurt children inside of them, and they're not always able to extend their love as deeply as you need it. So forgive them, and then forgive yourself for expecting them to do that. Forgiveness is an interesting thing, and I might do a live completely just on that, because a lot of people have a kind of distorted view on what forgiveness is. We often feel like we need the other person to forgive. We need them to kind of throw themselves onto our feet, and so then we can forgive. But really, forgiveness is always an act that you do for yourself. You forgive, because otherwise you carry that hurt inside of yourself. Nobody else is carrying it. You carry it, and you can forgive. At any given moment, the most painful people that have treated us in the most crazy way, we can forgive. There's a beautiful story that's in one of the documentaries that was recommended to me recently, called, I think, Human. And in that documentary, a guy speaks who says he's in prison, and he's interviewed, and he's saying he murdered his wife and his kids, and he's in prison for that. And he said the woman who taught him how to love was the mother of his wife and his children, not the mother of his wife and the grandmother of his children. And she came to him every single day she is still, and she's going to prison to meet him, and she forgives him, and she teaches him, or she taught him what love is, that love is beyond even the most horrific things that we can do. And she must have been such an angel, because she could see right through the pain of him and why he did that. And she was able to transform this man who was in so much pain from his own past that he actually decided to take the life of his partner and his children, because so much pain and anger was inside of him. And yes, most of us will not do that, will not go to the extent, but in some way and figuratively we do these things to our partners. We kind of kill parts of them when we go and engage in the unconscious power struggle and don't do the work that we need to do for ourselves, which is feeling the original pain. When we attack, we always really attack ourselves. When we kill some part of trust in somebody else, we also kill a part of trust inside of ourselves. So the journey of relationship is always one where we need to come back to ourselves. And we need to forgive. First and foremost, always ourselves, for having maneuvered ourselves into the situation in the first place. Take a deep breath with that. So the last thing is a choice. The third way on after all of this is kind of like a step-by-step, really. You release your emotions, then you identify the need of what's not met inside of you, and you forgive. It's kind of this like one process. Identify the need and forgive yourself and the other, which is a really powerful step. It might not be so easy, so you can ask a little bit for guidance on that. It's like, yes, I want to forgive, because now we come to the third point is choosing. Do you choose to be right, or are you choosing to love? This is a very massive choice. Are you choosing drama, or are you choosing creativity? Are you choosing to tap into your heart to solve this conflict that's come up, or are you choosing drama to just repeat something that comes over and over again? So on the topic of creativity, it's very interesting. A lot of us, we don't choose creativity in the struggle moments, because actually we're pretty cut off from our creativity in the moment that relational struggle comes up. Because everything happens in the head, right? You have no connection to your heart and your body. You're just like, whoa! So that's why I say, do your emotional release first, figure out your needs, as I said in the second part, forgive, and then see what creative impulse can you use to solve and to come to harmony in the situation. Maybe it is just drawing a picture, or writing a song, or singing to the sky, or doing some real art with your pain that you're feeling, like actually transmuting the thing that you're feeling into something that is beautiful, that is taken that pain and shed light on it so much that it transforms itself. Because often it just needs to be seen, right? It needs to be felt, it needs to be heard, it needs to be seen. And maybe it is something that you need to do creatively for your partner, with your partner, like choose a different road. Usually we have like this one road that we always go on when we are relational struggling, when we are in that power struggle. What do? That same kind of thing. We overreact, we explode, we do this, we retract, we run away. What if you asked your heart and your creative center, which is in your sensual center, your second chakra, what if you asked that part of you, that part that's connected to the earth, that part that is intrinsically creative because it can create life? What if you ask your sexual center, what am I supposed to do here? What can I do in the name of love? What would love do right now? And you choose a different road. You choose a road of humor, maybe. You choose to just laugh at the fact that you're arguing about something like this again. Or you choose to see the hurt part inside of your partner with so much love. You choose to see that little child inside of them and you just shower it with love because you are capable of. You connect to your inner mother or father, and you find that space of strength where you can be the healing balm for your partner. There's so many creative ways of how to meet a power struggle outside of our old rules or our old pathways and how we usually act. And that is where you need to connect to. Now, most people, as I said, don't have this connection to their creativity because also we are cut off of our sexuality. We are cut off of our creative power all the time because it's culturally suppressed. It's not really something that we talk about. It's not something that we even know how to deal with. So do yourself a favor and start consciously connecting to your sacred sexual center, to your creative center, to that part of you that is creative, that is connected to earth and life and every single plane. And if you want guidance on that, then please join us on the Go Touch Yourself training. That's also on the Be Love Tribe. Please just come over there, see what we've got for you. It's a massive body of work. I don't really like to talk much about marketing on these videos, but I just want to put it out there. There are ways for you, whether you join our training or somebody else's. Go and study your sexuality. Go and study what happens when you lift and liberate the energy that is right inside of your body, that boils and wants to be moving through your body. Aliven yourself through connecting to the base of your energy. The base center is your sexuality, is your sex center. As long as you keep it cut, it will be difficult for you to access your creative centers. Because creativity comes from there, it's born there. So there you have it. The 3 ways are: first, do your emotional release. Do whatever you need to do, whether it's running in the park, screaming at the sky, punching a pillow, but do something that doesn't throw your hot energy towards your partner. Then when you feel like you've released most of the excess energy, go and identify for yourself the need that isn't met. What is not, where are you feeling incomplete, and identify it and find ways to meet it. Release your partner from having to meet it. Release them, forgive yourself for having that expectation. Find ways to meet it yourself. With other people, with friends, just in a date with yourself, in whatever way. And the 3rd way, after that, is obviously be in communication and choose a creative path rather than the drama path. Choose a different road. Be conscious enough to be able to pull yourself back when you're going the old way and say, no, let's find a different way. Let's do something creative. Let's play this differently and stay curious, stay open. Well, that's what life is about, isn't it? So sending you so much love for this day, and whatever conflict you might be encountering, these principles work, whether they're relational, intimate, or not so intimate. In some way they do. Sending you love. Ciao, ciao.